going to hit you with what the Americans call a curveball here. So bear with me. What have I said to you that America's greatest enemy on earth is Europe? Not China, not Russia, it's Europe. Partly because of the Zionist influence within America, obviously having a deep influence in the clergy plan and the ongoing white genocide in countries like Sweden, Germany, the UK, France, Italy, Greece. Genocide by sperm and infertility, not by guns and bullets. And now, of course, with the social distancing, be lucky if there's any children ever born again from new couples that can meet. But anyway, back to the curveball. So a country measures its wealth and success on the amount of buying power its citizenships have collectively, and then divided by the amount of citizens, and that gives you an idea of their individual and collective buying power. And America's been number one in the world for no other reason than the dollar has been obviously the currency of the world, and that they've printed it out of existence. As we can see now, the economic effects are absolutely devastating. They really are. When you carry on using the printing press, it's just going to end in disaster every time. Doesn't matter what for, whether it's propaganda or money, has the same end. Now, Europe's consumerist spending power per capita is nearly on par with America's. And if you were to think outside the box, you could look at the Zionist influence in India with Modi, with Trump in the USA, with Macron in France, with Trudeau in Canada. Can't remember the name of the guy in Australia, but definitely him, and New Zealand. Basically the Five Eyes, plus obviously South Africa's recent literal handover to Zionist-backed local politics. And you could wonder, has China succumbed internally, and have they managed to overtake certain aspects of the financial system, therefore enabling the clergy plan and Israel and America's plan to literally bring Europe to its knees? Because I don't know if you've noticed, but Europe's way of life, Europe's culture, individual countries, since this so-called plan has just been destroyed, radically destroyed. Sweden, for example, rape and bomb capital of the world for a period, still is apparently. Last count, I think there was a couple of hundred no-go areas for the police and ambulances and fire services. This is all available just at the click of a button. A lot of people have no idea that Sweden has just been overrun. So the countries that seem to be suffering the most are the European countries, and I don't mean as in the pandemic. I'm talking about economically. I'm talking about culture and way of life. Italian, Spanish, French, German. Well, the Germans are a little different. I think they're much more progressive in terms of their lockdown, from what I understand. Although I have seen various protests, I believe they're easing more than other European countries. But then Merkel is part of the plan as well. You've only got to look at the Charlemagne Prize to see its recent winners list. Rumpoy, Merkel, Blair. I think Merkel won it. Regardless, they're all cast from the same pot, aren't they? So could America and China, the fact that this is a world order and that maybe there is no America or China, could this be the move together to destroy Europe? Could there be something far deeper in the psyop than, aside from wanting to vaccinate everybody on Earth, obviously, but could there be something far deeper in the strategic, economic, and cultural attack? Not just on what I see. I was born in a Christian country. My fellow human beings that I grew up with are Christians, and I see them being attacked. I see their religion being attacked. I see their system being attacked, and you know, it's all part of the clergy plan. So all of this has got so many facets and layers, but I would ask you to think outside the box and take a curveball and check out how a country measures itself as the number one in the world. And you'll be surprised how that number one rating is measured. It doesn't matter about the debt. It doesn't matter about anything else. The fact that the world's currency is backed up by the dollar obviously has a massive influence, and this is what they're fighting for now. But I can't see America and China now with the trade links. Well, obviously I can see it, but the curveball suggests that there could be a partnership here, deep level partnership that we don't understand, or maybe we do understand. We know all wars are bankers' wars and just sacrifices and culls, eugenics and depopulation, and also an economic boost, because once you've made bombs and dropped them, you need to make some more. It creates jobs, it creates mining, it creates, well, you know the rest. You don't need to patronise you on this. So I've always considered that the USA would look to Europe as an enemy. The only reason they joined World War II was because we agreed to give the Zionists in America Palestine and Israel. That was the only reason. And the UK handed over and was in debt to America for an awful long time. It wasn't just Palestine we handed over. But that, I mean, that's in the past. That's ancestor stuff. But the modern, I'm looking at America and China and wondering whether they could do without each other. I know there has to be only one global power, but we're looking at it, aren't we, with a new world order? And one other thing I'd like to mention, it's a longer video than usual this, one of the reasons why we find ourselves in this economic shitstorm is this. What do you think the number one represents? Number one, right. So you've got multiples of one. 5 are 5 ones, 20 are 20 ones, 100 is 100 ones. And this is what we're taught at school. The moment we go into school, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. And we have this fixation with that pure maths, we could call it, until we leave educational establishments. And then we get to fend for ourselves. And the value of 1 becomes an entirely different prospect. It becomes irrelevant. And I'll explain why, and also how it's in part, not fully, we are facing this economic situation because of this power of 1, or number or value of 1. So you walk into a shop and you say, I'd like to buy a bottle of water, please. And the guy behind the counter says, fine, that's £1 or $1 or €1. So you hand over your 1 and you get your 1 bottle. You walk out, everyone's happy. Now, you know, if you want to buy 100 bottles of water, you're not going to be paying 100. The guy behind the counter, if you said to him, I would like to buy 100 bottles of water, you know you should be able to get those bottles of water for 60, 70, 80 pounds, dollars or euros. It's the same water, and it's in multiples of 1, and that multiple of 1 has become 100, except all of a sudden it's now 80. Are you with me? So you can buy 1 bottle for £1. You can buy 100 bottles for 80 or 70. Well, natural, everyone agrees. But this is the economic situation we've been living in. I'm going to point out the value of 1 in the future. The guy in the shop's only allowed to sell you 1 bottle of water. So you walk in there and say, I'd like to buy 100 bottles of water, please. He says, I can only sell you 1. He says, it's €1 for 1. And you say, okay. So he takes you round to the side of the shop and whispers quietly in your ear, I can sell you 100 bottles of water for €200. That's our future. The number and value of 1 doesn't even exist outside of an educational establishment or a piece of fruit. Think on that. Cheers.